Hello, and welcome to this week's episode where we are going to go over the transits for the upcoming week, starting with today, March 4th, and going through till Sunday, March 10th. If you are new here, hello, my name is Erika Layne, and I am an astrologer. I read human design charts. I am a nerd about gene keys. I am a psychic medium, and I am also a Reiki master. And to kind of package that all up into one ball, I mostly just help people discover themselves. I help people discover more and more of themselves so they can find that gem that is their most authentic, highest self. And so, if that is something that interests you, I would love to speak further with you. You can find all of the details, information of everything that you need to contact me and check out my services down below in the description box. You can also find on my website for my coaching program, I do have free consultations for that. So if what I do is interesting to you, but you would like more information or to see if we kind of like just go well together, yeah, I would love to speak with you if you want to go and book that free consultation. Uh, Let me think if there's anything else I needed to go over. Also, just to preface for my transit readings, these are general readings. So this is not something specific to anybody watching this, but more collective in a general sense. But individually, you will also experience these energies. And just so you know, if you are super into astrology, but you don't know anything about human design or gene keys, I do sprinkle that information in throughout my readings because I am just a nerd about it, right? So if that's something that you don't know anything about, send me a message and I will point you in the right direction of like where you can learn more about that and where you can pull your own chart. Okay, so with all of that being said, let's go ahead and get into this week. Also, just a preface, guys, like my hair is annoying the hell out of me because my curls are going in all sorts of wonky directions. So I'm going to try really hard to ignore that. It won't let me, like, I have to stare at myself, unfortunately, while I'm recording this on Zoom. And also, just to preface, like, where we're going to start today, the moon is in Sagittarius right now. It's at the last degrees and it's Pisces season. So there's a lot of mutable energy going on. And I tend to get very spacey in mutable energy and very just kind of like I can't, like I just feel like I'm in like a weird liminal space cloud. Okay, so I'm just letting you know that like I'm not super like on point and clear in my mind right now, but I'm going to do my best because I promised myself that I was going to stick to this and I think that it's helpful. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. Like I said, the moon is in Sagittarius today. It's going to move into Capricorn though here shortly. It's also in the quarter of mutation or purpose fulfilled through spirit for my human design people. And so we are kind of going from the emotional place of like going with the flow, being more philosophical about our emotions and being more explorative into planning mode again, right? Like so also the moon doesn't really like to be in Capricorn. It's furthest away from its home sign of Cancer where it feels good, right? So in Capricorn it's kind of like it really wants to cut off the emotions and be like, what is the plan, how can I be practical, what is the next step, like where are my emotions kind of getting in the way of taking the next step. So that's going to be more the energy that we're going into to finish out today. Also, while all of this is going on, we have Mars making a trine and sextile to the nodes. Mars is currently in Aquarius and the nodes are in the Aries Libra axis. So Mars is our motivation, our drive, our aggression, our even like our sex drive, right? It's that fire that's burning within us. Making a trine to Libra is really motivating us to let go of what's no longer serving us, and making that sextile aspect to the North Node in Aries. Mars is ruled by Aries, right? So it really does like put this charge into like taking action, moving forward, putting yourself first. With Chiron there, healing, right? And maybe this is also kind of like a lot of this like break free kind of energy that we've been experiencing since Aquarius season, since Pluto entered Aquarius. So it's more of that, you know, it's a continuation of that, of like, where can you break free and move into a new direction? Where can you break free from what everyone else thinks and move into a direction of like what you truly want, desire, need, etc. Emotionally as well, right? We're going to be sifting through that on an emotional level soon. Right now, soon we're going to be sifting through this on an emotional level. Right now, the early parts of this week is a good time to detach from that. Like the emotions are still going to be there, but I'm saying that like when the emotions arrive, to kind of detach from that and see your goals from a different perspective. Mercury in Pisces is also making a sextile to Uranus in Taurus. Mercury in Pisces is also opposite where it wants to be in Virgo. It's making communication a bit hard, right? A bit ideal. We can be a little bit idealistic with our thinking. We can be a bit more dreamy, a bit more like artsy, and just kind of like in this more like spiritual plane. With this sextile, it's really helping us to get creative and innovative about what we're manifesting, what we are experiencing sensually, what we kind of like can utilize around us, right? What can we, I feel like it's also like very artsy in a way of like, how can we utilize what's around us to like paint a picture? And maybe that paint a picture is like more metaphorically. I don't mean like actually painting a picture. However, Mercury in Pisces is a good time to kind of tap into that more creative side of yourself. Like finding a way to like express emotion more than anything. Like in Leo, it's like express yourself. In Pisces is like express how you feel. Okay, let's just keep moving right along. Tuesday, the moon is still in Capricorn. There's not a lot I want to talk about that day. I mean, the moon is going to be forming aspects to the planets in Taurus, and also, you know, the planets in Aries. But, you know, more or less it's a continuation. We're going to be in this planning and plotting stage, emotionally detached about our goals, right? Essentially. And then when we get to Wednesday, Mars is going to move a little bit further into Aquarius, and it's still going to be making aspects to the nodes, but it's going to lessen up a bit and more tightly start to sextile Chiron. And so then we're going to really be applying that motivation towards healing. Like almost like when you decide where you want to go, when you decide what you want to take action on, when you decide this like new direction you're trying to go, you also have to like take a moment to be like, because that's when you decide to do it, that's when all the stuff pops up, right? Of like self-worth, like doubting yourself, all of the things that everyone has ever said to you. When all that stuff starts to pop up, it's like you can allow that to kind of like have you close back up again and like take a few steps back. or you can heal it and keep moving forward. And I think that that's where we are trying to go collectively, is heal it and keep moving forward. You know, it's not a time anymore to be allowing our traumas, our limiting beliefs to stop us from moving forward. Our wounding no longer needs to stop us from moving forward. Also on Wednesday, the moon is going to move out of Capricorn and move into Aquarius. And when it does, it's going to conjunct Pluto. I think that Wednesday is going to be very interesting with the moon moving through Aquarius, because we're still a bit emotionally detached, but we're also, I think, seeing some kind of like emotional results from those transits in Aquarius. Like, Aquarius rules Saturn as well, right? And I think that also there's a lot to be said about karma this week, which we'll get into when we get further in. But I can see this as like, did you, like, you know, the question is like, did you break free in Aquarius season during all those transits? And if not, what does that look like for you now? And if so, what does that look like for you now? Can you see how you can move through karma in different ways? How you can break free from karma in different ways? And really, with this, it feels more collective, right? It feels more or less like not so much like what you did, maybe a little bit of like what your ancestors did, what your family did, but also just like this collective baggage of like, we can't collectively move forward because of this collective karma, and how we either do or don't play a part in that. Like being that drop in the ocean, you know? Okay. Thursday, the moon is still in Aquarius, and it's going to move further into Aquarius to the point where it starts to make a square to Jupiter. Aquarius and Taurus, like squares, is like where you're being too stubborn, either mentally or physically, right? Like Aquarius is really stubborn about like seeing it a new way, seeing a new way. And Jupiter, or sorry, Taurus is really stubborn about like, I want to feel comfortable. I want to feel comfortable. And they're kind of like butting heads in that way. So we want to feel comfortable when it comes to abundance and expansion, and also our ability to like learn new things, you know. So in a way they're working together like that, right? Because Jupiter wants to expand our mind, but it also wants to feel physically comforted at this point, as to where in Aquarius, emotionally, it wants to detach emotionally and see a new perspective. And it's going to conjunct Mars as well. So it wants to see a new perspective, but it also wants to keep going. It wants to keep the wheels spinning, keep this motivation, keep this drive towards working towards our goals, right? Towards manifesting abundance and expansion. And while that happens, it's also making a sextile to Chiron. So it's really honestly like a beautiful, and I'm seeing it super positive right now in my head. Like it seems like a sync up, right? Of like, I can break free from wounding. I can heal identity wounds. I can break free from worn out identities that aren't really my identity anymore. I have the motivation and the drive. My emotions are detached enough right now for me to see it in a different way, for me to get motivated in a different way. And because of that, even though it might not feel comfortable to Taurus right this second, I am building something that's more sustainable in the long run, that is going to create that material comfort for Taurus down the road. Mercury at this time is also starting to conjunct Neptune. So, everything I said about Mercury and Pisces and being creative and dreamy and all of that, it's like amplified with this conjunction to Neptune. This is a very spiritual combination as well, right? This is like when I see this in birth charts, I'm automatically like, oh my God, this person can channel, especially whatever it pertains to that house, right? So it's like a time, I would say, for spiritual downloads, spiritual connection, cutting through, like cutting through fog, but it's hard for me to say this. Like, I don't know if it'll make sense to you guys. Hopefully it will. Cutting through fog without losing that spiritual connection. Holding that spiritual connection very strongly without escaping it. And for those of you who either, I don't know if this like pertains to you or someone you know or something you see out there in the collective, when we talk about like spiritual bypassing and stuff like that, that's when this also really comes to a head. Like if you have been spiritually bypassing, you could be really aware of that come this week of like, oh my God, like I'm trying, like it's such a paradox when we get to Pisces to talk about. Sometimes it gets hard for me because it's like on one hand it's the oneness, it's everything, it's death, it's life after death, it's the collective consciousness and the collective karma, which is what we're going to really be talking about with this new moon. So like the weight of that can cause you to want to escape. Also, the void of that, of feeling into like how maybe you're not as separate as you thought, can be scary for people. It's like doing hallucinogenics, and like melting into the environment. It's scary. It's scary to lose your sense of self. But it's also like the quickest, most effective catapult into growth and evolution and happiness and all of those higher level emotions, right? Like it's the only way. It's the only way to get there. And if you keep escaping that, you're just keeping yourself trapped and you're being part of that collective karma, that drop in that ocean. Because you're not facing your shit. But as you're facing your shit on Thursday, try to find ways to creatively channel and express these things, whether it's like writing or painting or dancing or just like movement, like just get it out. Don't hold on to it anymore. Okay, Friday, Mars is going to start to square Uranus. This is wild card energy at this point, especially with Mars in Aquarius, which rules Uranus, right? So it's like we're plugging Uranus in, and Uranus loves to be plugged in, and it could throw us a lot of like curveballs and unexpected things. And it's funny because Uranus and Taurus, again, when we talk about that comfort aspect, it's like as we're getting these curveballs, it's going to be that question again, like, are you going to retreat because you're uncomfortable and you just want to be comfortable, or are you going to use this as a snowball effect, to keep going, to get innovative, to get creative, to look around you, to see what you can use? The moon also is still in Aquarius, but it's going to move into Pisces in the evening, and then we're going to hit our dark moon phase. So like as the moon moves through Aquarius on Thursday and Friday, I really feel that we're going to be revisiting a lot of those lessons in Aquarius season, like I said. And then when it gets to the dark moon phase, that's a good time for us to really get out that last like push, that last release of all of that that we might have accumulated in the last few months. Like, we're coming to, like, a new moon is a new moon, it's a new start, right? But like, we're also coming to the end of the astrological year, the end of the archetypal journey of astrology, right? So like, use this dark moon to just really push any last ick out before we start to look towards a newer, cleaner slate, especially spiritually, especially when it comes to your connection to spirit. Okay, trying not to make this super duper long. Saturday, the moon is still in Pisces. It's going to move further in conjunct Saturn. Back to that karma again, right? Collective karma. Collective spiritual karma. And then the new moon is going to be occurring at 3 a.m. roughly Central Time on Sunday. So dark moon phase all Saturday, conjunct Saturn, kind of like, really revisiting these karmic things. And then as we go to sleep, as we sleep Saturday night into Sunday is when the new moon is going to happen. Now, this new moon is at 20 degrees Pisces, and in human design, this is gate, or if you, gene key side, gene key 22, and it's going to be in line 4. Line 4 is a really opportunistic line. It's about bringing the right people together for the right thing. It's about knowing who's good at what. It's about forming a team, essentially. And gate 22, I refreshed myself by listening to this gene key. It's a long chapter. It's like an hour and a half long, but it's one of my favorites because it's just really like mind-blowing and deep. It really goes into like the afterlife and this collective karma that I'm talking about, and like how we can kind of like transcend karma, transcend these like emotions that hold us back. And a lot of that is through, like it says, the gift of graciousness, right? So that's what I really want to kind of like hone in and focus on with this new moon, because we can really utilize the gift aspects, in my opinion, during new moon phases, or set an intention for that gift. And this one is graciousness. It's when you accept all of your emotions without judgment, and therefore you can accept others' emotions without judgment. And then you can really get into that artistic side and that creative expression side of it, because when we judge our emotions, we're not going to express them, we're going to suppress them, and that's honestly what all of this work is about. It's like, how do you constantly lovingly embrace everything that comes up within you, in your environment, in your relationships, and how do you transcend these things? How do you bring them up to higher levels? How do you accept and forgive? How do you move graciously, through life? I thought it was really interesting because also in this chapter, it was going through all of the different kinds of bodies, like our physical body, our emotional body, our mental body, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not an expert with this, but I actually do want to do this. Thought about it. It talked about, how like when we pass away, our bodies obviously go back into the ground, into the material plane. And so all of our bodies kind of like detach and separate, and kind of like how there's this phase called the bardo. And I actually have a Kim Krans oracle little thing here about that. I haven't read it yet, but I wanted to in this, because in the bardo is when we're kind of going through those other bodies, and like they kind of like what they refer to in the Bible as judgment day. However, it's not like being judged. It's just like cleaning. It's like cleaning out the karma, cleaning out the baggage so you can start over again, so you can start anew. And a lot of this collective energy is about us starting anew, going forward, being brave, being more assertive, going into more like pioneering places. So I think that there's a part about this too that's like, yes, we come into this lifetime with a lot of baggage already. And how do we graciously accept that? Graciously accept that, like, this is my life story. This is the obstacles, gifts, genetics, et cetera, that I was given. How can I graciously accept this and use it to the best of my and its ability? Make the most of it, essentially. Okay, this says the liminal, the in between, the transition. It is said that the bardo is a place between this life and the next, a liminal realm through which souls pass. Envisioning this inherently mysterious space creates the potential for us to rise above the concerns of this world and see our relationships through a cosmic and timeless lens. We may receive messages from those who are no longer with us or see visions of lives not yet lived. In the bardo, there is potential to forgive the unforgivable, to say the unsaid, to see the unseen, to love the unloved, to let go of all the things that cause us pain. The bardo suspends us in its spaciousness for just long enough to open us to higher wisdom. Its energy does not belong to Earth as we know it, but rather the cosmic network of which we are a single thread. Drop in the ocean. So we're going to be really connected to that. And to kind of talk about how we can connect to that and use that to really clean the slate. Like, yes, we're going to clean the slate when we die. We can clean the slate every day in our own unique way, in our own unique connection to spirit. And all of this is pushing us towards a new place. Like, we have to face this because the new place is completely unknown. It is completely uncomfortable to go into the unknown. And with Aries and Aquarius energy partnered up, it is pioneering as fuck, you know, like that's why it needs to be brave. That's why it needs to be rebellious and curious and seeking new perspective and seeking new experience and charging ahead and not letting other people hold you back, hold you down. So the part now in this story is to not let our collective karmic baggage hold us back. Beautiful. Okay. And I also just want to say, especially with graciousness here and with line 4, like I said, being opportunistic, being about bringing the right people together. Graciousness is forgiving the emotions of others. That you are not going to create a safe container for other people besides just yourself to exist if you are not graciously accepting of the wide array of emotions that humans can feel and holding that space for others to feel safe to express themselves, to know people deeper and more intimately, to see them as a part of the whole. One sec. Sorry about that. Okay. So just a little bit out of this book as well. This is Karen Curry Parker's The Encyclopedia of Quantum Human Design. With Gate 22, I just want to read the optimal expression that we have in this book to kind of give you an idea of like what you could be setting intentions for. The grace to know that you are fully supported by the universal flow of abundance and to pursue your passion and your unique contribution to the world, no matter what. To trust that you will be given what you need when you need it in order to make your unique contribution to the world. What is one bold step towards your genius that you could take right now? Knowing that spirit supports you. It's kind of like that question, like, if anything was possible, what would you do? In the oneness, in the cosmic womb, in the cosmic womb of everythingness, anything is possible. What would you do? What would you do? As a drop in that ocean, what would you do? Who could you bring together? Who would you seek to connect with? Okay. During this new moon, we are also going to have Uranus square to Mars. We already talked about that. And also Uranus is sextile to the new moon. So Uranus is lit up by this. Like I said, this is innovative, wild card. Anything can happen. Get out of your comfort zone. Make a change. Go in a new direction. Even if it doesn't feel physically safe. And I feel resistance when I say that. But I think that like people have to understand that maybe that risk-taking life isn't for everyone. Okay, but if it is for you, if there's something that you've really been longing for and desiring that you keep pushing down and repressing within yourself, it's probably because like you're probably trying to escape that feeling because you don't want to leave your comfort zone. And this is really like crunching that. This is the best way I can explain it. Okay. Also, right after the new moon and into Sunday, Mercury is going to move into Aries and make a sextile to Pluto. And how fucking poetic and beautiful and perfect is that? We got that transformative Aquarian energy with that thinking communicative style of Aries joining forces, being super pioneering, and really just like charging us into a new way of seeing things, a new perspective that is helping us go into this pioneering place. Like also like for myself personally, as I'm thinking about all of this, like I really want to set the intention to be a better mouthpiece for spirit, right? Be a better channeler. Like keeping that connection, like as I do these videos, like right now, like how can I keep this channel, this connection as I'm reading into these energies and these planets and these transits as clear and healthy as possible? How can I creatively channel my emotions? How can I play my part in the collective story? How can I be brave and move into new directions and evolve and change and transform, knowing and really believing wholeheartedly that I am held by spirit, that I'm here for a reason, that I have the power and the ability to transcend my collective karma, to transcend this emotional baggage in my emotional body. Okay. For the card portion, we got this card, the Nectar. And then we also got Isra, She Who Dreams, which is perfect, and Blue, She Who Loved Ones. And I really see this as like tapping into that, like anything is possible, like that you can, like if you can dream it, you can create it. Your dreams, your visions, your downloads, your insights were given to you. Like you're not the creator of it. That's ego, right? But you are the receiver of it. And how grateful and humbled and delighted that could make you feel that you've been given the nectar and that you can dream, but you could also escape the weight of what you're receiving. You could have full faith and trust in spirit to nurture what you've received, or you can escape it. And maybe you escape it because of times in the past where, you've been rejected, where you've been hurt. And maybe you feel a bit fragile, like you're not strong enough, like you're not bold enough, not brave enough, but you are. Okay. Sorry, guys. The nectar, the medicine, the elixir, the garden. In Hindu mythology, there is a miraculous substance known as amrit, or nectar, that contains infinite healing power. This golden nectar or sacred elixir is the drink of immortality and, like its sister substance, soma, is known to activate subtle intelligent forces that ease the mind, body, and spirit. Though esoteric, these images lead us to the central energy of this archetype, the sweet, potent, heavenly essence that lubricates our spirit back to life. The nectar card calls us to identify and relish in places, practices, people, and activities that regenerate and heal. Medicine is needed, and it comes in subtle form that you may be overlooking. Seek the most sensuous, fragrant flower in the garden you have forgotten. Don't underestimate this remedy. It is said when somebody has activated this substance within, it is reflected in their shimmering eyes. I love that. Sense the nectar within you, dripping from the crown of the head and soothing the brain. Let it drip down the spine like sweet honey. The nectar, the mystic, and aletheia cards are linked. It is the mystic who, like Krishna, turns poison into nectar. And it is truth that can often serve as a potent elixir for healing. And I fucking love that right there. Pisces is the mystic, turning poison into nectar. That is everything we talked about. How can you transcend and transform this collective karma, this emotional baggage? And usually it's through the harsh truths, not escaping them. Okay, now I'm dropping things. Okay, Isra, she who dreams. Isra, she who dreams, rests upon a rock under a rising full moon. A moonflower vine twines up her leg around her arm to weave through her hair. The blooming flowers create a temporary tiara brought to life by the light of the moon. Isra dreams as the wind whisks her hair while leaves dance in the breeze. She knows how to escape the harshness of the so-called real world. Listening to the music of celestial choir, she closes her eyes. Her fantasy brings her contentment, so she takes time to drift into her dreams. The message brought by Isra is to honor your dreams. They allow you a sanctuary where you can occasionally disappear and give your doubts and worries a much needed break. Let your soul be soothed by impractical fantasies and foolish notions every day. When you acknowledge the power of the mental escape, you can begin to see which of your fears are real and which are unreal. You will also learn which of your fantasies are closer to reality than you thought. This insight is the gift of she who dreams. I don't want to say more about that because I feel like it would just be repetitive at this point. Blue, she who loved once, has a sad demeanor because she is thinking about someone who no longer accepts her love. She wears a golden wreath on her dark hair and clasps flowers to her heart. From her glance, you can see she is feeling lost and alone now. The delicate dogwood flowers are meant to be given to someone special, but Blue hesitates in offering her love again. This card encourages you to explore your own feelings of vulnerability. There is always a risk in revealing your emotions. If you have a secret love, it can be a thrilling thing as much as a terrifying one. If you tell them how you feel, how will they respond? Will they appreciate your declaration or will they walk away? The only real way of knowing the answer is to hold out your gift. Let this card remind you that you weren't meant to love only once. If you suffer the anguish of rejection, allow yourself time to heal. When you are ready, pick new flowers. Face the world head on so others can find you to offer you their love. Fucking perfect. That's how we transcend what I've been talking about. It's like, it's when you, like I said, those pains, those hurts, those woundings, those rejections, not allowing it to cause you to step back again and cower again and harden up and close people off. How can you soften and forgive even more and be even more and more gracious and more forgiving and understanding and allowing those emotions to come up without judgment and allowing yourself and others to express? Okay, that's all I got. Big reminder, I am doing my new moon workshop at Wild Root Yoga this Friday from I think 6:30, 6:30 to 8:30. That's in Lincoln. If you are interested, you can find the information on Facebook and on my Facebook page. And also, I have openings for readings next week, but I'm going to be, yes, next week is still open, but I'm going to be on vacation starting next Friday. And what else? I think that's it. Thank you guys so much. If you appreciate this reading, if you found this useful, please consider sharing and liking, subscribing, leaving a rating, all the things that you can do to help support this thing that I'm doing to grow and get bigger and reach more people. I would so appreciate it, and I'm sure the other people would also appreciate it that need to hear this. So thank you so much for supporting me, and I love you all, and I hope you have an amazing, miraculous, healing, wonderful, abundant week ahead. Thank you.